All right, so get this. Today we're diving deep, like really deep into this idea of karmic correction.
Oh, this is going to be fascinating.
It is, right. And the really interesting stuff always comes from, well, interesting places. And in this case, we're talking about the teachings of Grandmaster Avadhut,
Yes.
specifically from his online subconscious mind power training workshop.
Okay.
So we're going to unpack what this whole karmic correction thing is all about, how it supposedly works, and of course, what it could mean for you.
I think what's really interesting here, and you kind of touched on this, is that we're not just talking about karma like in a philosophical sense,
Right.
like as this abstract concept, but as something you can actually work with.
Totally. It's like karma is usually seen as this fixed thing, right?
Yeah.
But this deep dive kind of suggests that maybe we have more agency than we thought.
It's an interesting concept.
It is. But before we get into that, let's back up a bit.
Mhm.
What exactly is karma in this, like, karmic correction context?
So, Grandmaster Avadhut's teachings suggest that essentially karma is an energetic record of all of our actions and their consequences,
Okay.
but it extends across multiple lifetimes.
Okay, so past lives.
Past lives.
Got it.
And so it's not about punishment. It's about this balance and cause and effect that plays out over time.
So it's more nuanced than just, like, do something bad happens to you.
Exactly.
It's more like a cosmic balancing act.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the idea of karmic correction comes in.
Okay.
So if you can identify the root cause
Okay.
of a recurring issue, even if it originates in a past life, you can potentially address it at an energetic level.
Ooh, okay, now that's where it gets really interesting. You mentioned past lives. Does that mean, like, to do this whole karmic correction thing, you have to believe in reincarnation?
Well, I mean, Grandmaster Avadhut's teachings definitely operate within that framework. But, I think even if you set aside past lives for a moment, the core principle still applies.
Okay, yeah.
Like, we all have deeply ingrained patterns that can feel karmic in how they keep playing out in our lives, maybe from childhood or even inherited from our families.
That makes sense. It's like those habits or tendencies that feel so deeply rooted, you almost wonder, like, where did this even come from?
Exactly.
So how do we actually go about doing this karmic correction thing?
Well, according to Grandmaster Avadhut, it all starts with this idea of the mind-body connection.
Okay.
This idea that our mental and emotional states directly impact our physical well-being.
Okay.
He even suggests that ulcers are essentially psychosomatic,
Right.
meaning they're rooted in mental and emotional stress.
Okay, so it's not just like spicy food.
Right.
It's more like what stress can actually manifest in the body.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how chronic stress like wreaks havoc on the body.
Absolutely.
But how does that tie into karma?
Okay, so think of it this way. If negative mental states can create physical ailments,
Yeah.
then perhaps by shifting those states, we can correct those ailments, even on a karmic level.
So it's like instead of just treating the symptom,
Yeah.
you're going for the root cause,
Exactly.
the underlying like energetic imbalance.
Right.
But how do you actually do that?
So Grandmaster Avadhut emphasizes the importance of alpha brainwave frequencies,
Okay.
which are associated with relaxation, meditation, and that drowsy state right before sleep.
Okay, alpha brainwaves. Yeah, I've heard of those. They're supposed to be good for stress relief and all that.
Exactly.
But what makes them so special for karmic correction?
Grandmaster Avadhut believes that alpha state is the key to accessing the subconscious mind, which is where he says this karmic correction work really happens.
So what?
He calls it the clairvoyant level of mind.
Clairvoyant. So like seeing things like beyond the physical.
It's more about accessing a deeper level of knowing, an intuitive understanding that goes beyond our normal waking awareness.
Okay.
Think of it like tapping into a hidden archive of information about yourself and your karmic patterns.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture.
Okay.
So I'm relaxed, my brain waves are humming along in alpha mode,
Huh?
I'm plugged into my subconscious mind.
Huh.
What's next in this karmic correction process?
So, according to Grandmaster Avadhut, you then choose a specific area of your life that you want to investigate.
Okay.
It could be health, relationships, finances, anything that's causing you recurring challenges.
Got it. So I'm zeroing in on, let's say, like a pattern of self-sabotage in my career.
Okay.
What then?
So you visualize,
Okay.
you picture the karmic causee of that self-sabotage appearing on a mental screen.
Okay.
What might that look like to you?
Maybe it's, I don't know, a past life experience where I was punished for being successful, Or maybe it's like an inherited belief from my family that golf is dangerous or something.
Interesting. So once you've identified the potential cause, you then visualize the correction,
Okay.
what it would take to restore balance on an energetic level.
Okay, so if the cause is like a fear of success, maybe the correction is seeing myself as worthy of achieving my goals without negative consequences.
Exactly. Now, here's a crucial point.
Okay.
Grandmaster Avadhut, sir, emphasizes that you might not always be qualified
Wait, qualified? What does that even mean?
to receive this information. It's
Yeah.
this idea that sometimes our subconscious
Yeah.
might hold us back
Huh?
from accessing certain information if we're not ready for it.
Okay.
It's like a built-in safety mechanism
Hmm.
to prevent us from, getting overwhelmed or misusing the information.
Okay.
You're supposed to ask your subconscious, what do I need to do to become qualified?
Wow, that's kind of mind-blowing. It's like there's this intelligence within us that like knows what we can handle and when.
Exactly.
So let's say I feel ready.
Hmm.
I've got my cause and my correction visualized. Then what?
Grandmaster Avadhut, sir, says you then mentally perform the correction
Okay.
and then strive to manifest it in the physical world through aligned actions.
So it's not just about inner work.
Right.
It's about taking practical steps to align your outer reality with that, like, corrected karmic state.
Precisely. And now let's give our listeners some concrete examples.
Yeah, let's make this real.
Exactly.
So health is a big one.
Yeah.
How might someone apply karmic correction to, say, a chronic health issue?
Let's imagine someone struggling with debilitating migraines.
Okay.
They might use this technique to explore if there's a past life injury or even an emotional pattern from this life that's contributing to the pain.
Okay, so they visualize the cause.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a past life where they were forced to suppress their voice,
Hmm.
and now they experience these headaches as like a physical manifestation of that.
Right.
What would the correction look like?
It could be visualizing themselves, speaking their truth freely and confidently, releasing the pent-up energy in their head.
And then in their daily life,
Yeah.
they might consciously practice speaking up more, setting boundaries,
Yeah.
maybe even exploring like vocal therapies or something to release that blockage.
Exactly.
And that's how the inner work and the outer action
Right.
combine to create like real change.
Exactly.
This is incredible. I'm already thinking about all the different areas of my life I could explore through this lens.
Yeah.
What about relationships?
Hmm.
How might someone apply karmic correction to, let's say, a pattern of attracting partners who are emotionally unavailable?
That's a great question. They might use this technique to see if there's a karmic pattern
Okay.
of seeking validation from those who withhold it,
Okay.
maybe mirroring a dynamic from a past life or their childhood.
So maybe they visualize a past life where they were constantly seeking approval from a distant parent.
Right.
And that's now playing out in their romantic relationships.
Exactly.
What would the correction look like in that case?
It could involve visualizing themselves as inherently worthy of love and attention, attracting partners who are emotionally present and responsive.
And in their daily life, they might work on building their self-esteem, setting boundaries, and, just choosing partners who demonstrate emotional availability.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now remember, these are just examples.
Yeah.
To illustrate the concept.
Right.
What resonates with one person might not resonate with another.
Totally.
The key is to find what feels right for you.
This is such a fascinating deep dive.
Hmm.
We've covered a lot of ground, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface of karmic correction.
Yeah.
There's so much more to unpack here.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it so intriguing.
Yeah.
It invites us to question our assumptions
Yeah.
about reality, about our own power to shape our lives, even at a karmic level.
And speaking of questioning, there's one part that really caught my attention. That whole idea of being qualified to receive information from our subconscious. What are the potential dangers of accessing information before we're ready?
That's a great question.
And how does our subconscious even know when we're prepared?
Those are great questions, and ones that
Yeah.
Grandmaster Avadhut, sir, doesn't explicitly answer. But perhaps that's part of the invitation here,
Right.
to explore these questions ourselves.
Yeah.
To delve deeper into our own inner knowing.
That's a great point.
Hmm.
It's like this technique isn't just about fixing our problems.
Right.
It's about a deeper journey of self-discovery.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like this whole karmic correction process. It's not just about addressing the surface level issues, the stuff we can see. It's about those deeper, often hidden patterns, the things shaping our experiences.
That's such a powerful way to think about it. And it makes me wonder if this technique, if it can be applied to like health and relationships, what other areas could it work in?
Well, I mean, finances, for example. Lots of people, so many people struggle with money,
Oh, yeah.
often feeling stuck in that cycle of, I don't know, scarcity or debt, no matter what they do to break free.
Yeah. And it's so easy to think it's all about budgeting or like getting a better job. But what if there's more to it, like a deeper karmic element?
Exactly. So someone struggling financially could use this technique to, I don't know, explore if there's a past life pattern of like poverty or maybe a belief from this life, maybe passed down from their family, that money is evil or that rich people are, corrupt or something.
Okay, so let's say someone visualizes a past life where they were like betrayed or exploited because of their wealth.
Hmm.
And now they have this subconscious fear of being prosperous. How would they apply karma correction to that?
They could visualize themselves being financially abundant, but also wise, discerning, using their wealth in a way that helps others,
Well,
makes a positive impact.
yeah. And then in their life now, maybe they could work on releasing any guilt around money, explore like ethical investing, maybe even seek out mentors who embody that, that balance of wealth and the integrity.
Exactly. And that's a great example of how karmic correction can be used for, financial stuff. But it doesn't stop there. Let's say, okay, someone's super successful in their career, but their personal life is like a total mess.
Right, like they've achieved all these goals, but they're not happy, like deeply unhappy. Could that be like a karmic thing?
It's definitely possible. They might uncover a past life pattern of always putting their ambition first, leading to them neglecting personal relationships. Or maybe it's a belief they've inherited that happiness is, I don't know, frivolous or that they don't deserve to have it all.
So let's say they picture a past life where they were so focused on work that they pushed away like everyone who loved them. What would what would that even look like?
It could involve visualizing themselves as being successful, but in both their career and personal life, finding that balance and making those meaningful connections a priority.
And then like right now, they could start setting boundaries around work, making more time for people they care about, maybe even going to therapy to address any intimacy issues or fears of being vulnerable.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that all areas of our lives are like interconnected, finding that harmony between our inner and outer worlds.
This is so insightful. It really shows how this technique isn't just about like fixing one specific problem, but it's more of a holistic approach to personal growth and fulfillment.
Absolutely. And that's where it becomes really empowering, because it shows us that even those really deep-seated patterns, the things that feel fated or like out of our control, might actually be changeable.
Now, before we move on, I want to talk about something that's been bugging me. Grandmaster Avadhut, he really emphasizes alpha brainwaves as being like the key to accessing the subconscious.
Yeah.
Why, though? What's so special about that specific brainwave state? Is there like actual science behind this, or is it more, esoteric?
That's a great question. It really gets into like the intersection of science and spirituality, which honestly Grandmaster Avadhut often explores in his teachings.
Okay, so let's break that down a bit. We know that alpha brainwaves, they're associated with relaxation, and kind of a dreamy state. But what's going on a deeper level, like in our brains when we're in that state?
Well, some researchers think that alpha waves might help different parts of the brain to communicate,
Yeah.
including the conscious and subconscious minds.
Okay.
It's like building a bridge between that logical, analytical side and our deeper, more intuitive knowing.
So it's not just Jay-Z being relaxed.
Right.
It's creating the right environment, the right conditions for those two parts of ourselves to like actually talk to each other.
Exactly. And some theories say that when we're in that alpha state, we're like more receptive to information from our subconscious, all those deeper memories, beliefs, and even, past life experiences that are affecting us without us even realizing it.
That's fascinating. It's like alpha brainwaves are tuning us into a different frequency, allowing us to see this, I don't know, hidden dimension of ourselves.
That's a great way to put it. And that's where that whole clairvoyant aspect comes in. Not actually seeing things, literally, but sensing information that's usually hidden from our conscious minds.
It's like those deep sea creatures that live in the darkest parts of the ocean. You need special equipment to even see them. And in this case, that equipment is alpha brainwaves.
That's a fantastic analogy. It shows how karmic correction, it isn't just about like following a formula or a set of steps. It needs, a willingness to explore those uncharted territories within us to delve into the mystery of our own being.
And that's what makes this so much more than just like a self-improvement technique. It's a journey of self-discovery.
And a journey that can lead to some serious transformation, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Remember, Grandmaster Avadhut, sir, always says everything's interconnected.
Right, that like our actions, our thoughts, our very being, it all ripples out and impacts everything around us.
Exactly. So if we're, correcting our own karmic patterns, aren't we also kind of contributing to like a collective shift, no matter how small?
Whoa, that's a powerful thought. It's like we're not just responsible for our own WN karma, but we're helping to create the karma of the world.
And that brings up another interesting question. If we are all connected like this, what responsibility do we have to each other, karmically speaking?
That's a question that honestly that could take another deep dive to explore, but I think it shows the deeper meaning of karmic correction. It's not just about, healing ourselves. It's like a collective awakening.
Yeah, it really makes you think about that like butterfly effect thing, right? Like
Yeah.
even small changes to our own karmic patterns could have huge ripple effects, in the world. That's what I love about this whole idea.
Yeah.
It just opens up so many possibilities. It suggests that we're not, just stuck with whatever fate throws at us.
Mm-hmm.
We can actually shape our own reality individually and, collectively.
And it brings up so many questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if we are all connected, karmically, I mean, how do our actions affect everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
And what about, like, people who aren't actively working on their karma?
Mm.
Are we kind of, I don't know, carrying them along with us?
Those are questions that philosophers, spiritual teachers, they've been trying to figure that out for centuries.
Yeah.
And I think karmic correction just adds another layer to it all.
Right.
It suggests that, maybe we have more influence than we think.
Right.
Not just over our own lives, but over, like, the collective destiny of humanity.
It's kind of empowering,
Yeah.
but also a little scary.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that's what makes it so fascinating. It's a call to action almost. To step into our power, to own our karmic choices, and to realize we're all in this together,
One thing I keep coming back to is Grandmaster Avadhut Sir's emphasis on the subconscious mind. It's like he's saying the real key to change, it's not just changing how we act or think, it's going deeper into those hidden parts of ourselves where these karmic patterns come from.
Absolutely. And that's where the real work is. Becoming aware of those subconscious beliefs, those patterns that are so ingrained that we don't even realize they're there.
And that's where the alpha brainwaves fit in, right?
Exactly.
It's like they give us access to that subconscious realm, allowing us to actually make changes at that deeper level.
Exactly. It's like using, I don't know, a special kind of sonar to map the ocean floor to reveal, what's hidden down there.
It's like it makes me think about that whole qualified thing.
Yeah.
Maybe there are parts of our subconscious that are so deep, so fragile that, we need to approach them carefully.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
And it ties into that idea that real transformation, it isn't just about fixing stuff or achieving goals. It's a deeper journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth.
Right. It's like if we're going to explore those karmic depths, we got to do it with respect, with, humility, and be ready to face whatever we find there.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think importantly, remembering that it's an ongoing thing, this journey, this exploration,
Yeah.
it never really ends.
This has been amazing. We've covered so much about karma, about the power of the subconscious, about how we can shape our reality, both individually and, as a whole. It's definitely given me a lot to think about. I'm sure our listeners feel the same way.
I hope so. At the end of the day, that's what we want, to
Yeah.
make people curious, to inspire them to explore, and to empower them to, to start their own journey of karmic correction.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening out there, keep digging into these ideas, see what speaks to you.
Yeah.
And, see what kind of shifts are possible in your own life. And remember, this whole karmic correction thing, it's just one part of Grandmaster Avadhut Sir's online subconscious mind power training workshop, which, it's a gold mine of knowledge and techniques for tapping into, the power of your subconscious mind.
And, like always, keep asking questions, keep exploring, keep diving deep. Because the more we understand ourselves and our place in the universe, the more we can create a life that's truly aligned with our purpose.
Well said. And until next time, happy exploring.